Chapter 8 of Merry Clappum Junction. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Ruth Golding. Merry Clappum Junction by Arnold Kennedy. Chapter 8. A Mysterious Disappearance. Tommy followed Mr. and Miss Jack into a yard behind the house. A man in very new clothes was standing by the door of a cottage. Hanging round his neck was a card, on which were printed the words, "Once I was tattered and torn." His wife was leaning out of the cottage window playing a concertina. Another man, with a portmanteau in his hand, was opening a little gate to go out. "That must be the priest," thought Tommy, "and there is a way out after all." A cock just then craned his neck towards the priest and uttered one deafening crow. The cat was sitting on a stumpy apple tree, licking her lips. The cow was lowing gently in an outhouse. As to the dog, he was tied to a kennel by 6 chains attached to different parts of his body, one to each leg, one to his tail, and one to his neck, and he was half covered up by printed bills telling people to beware of the dog. He seemed to be lying very quiet, however, and certainly had not taken the trouble to worry the bills. All at once everything became so still that Tommy began to think he was looking at a picture. The priest was standing motionless at the open gate. The woman was holding her concertina without playing on it. The cow had ceased lowing. Just then he heard Miss Jack say, "Now he's going to disappear." He tried to turn round, but he found he could not move. Miss Jack went on talking, but her voice sounded fainter and fainter, and she seemed to be moving away. "He wants to know if we're a picture. He wants to know if he's a picture. He wants to know if—" Then there was a sound as of some huge weight being pushed along the ground. "If Miss Jack is moving round with the house," thought Tommy, "she'll be still at the back and the front will come round to me. Then I'll cross the stiles again and go home by Clappum Junction and the river. At any rate I won't disappear." No, he was not disappearing at all, but the things and people in the yard seemed to be changing about in a very strange way. Was that a cock or a crocodile? The cowshed seemed half a shed and half an engine. He could not make out what instrument the woman had in her hand. Every time he looked it was something different. He tried once more to move, and this time he succeeded. There was a chair behind him, and feeling suddenly drowsy, he sat down. "I believe it's getting dark again," he thought. "What a long time I've been away. I wish I could go home." Then he shut his eyes, but he found that they would not come open again. The priest went out at last, banging the door after him, but immediately after some one opened the door and seemed to come up to the dog and move the bills about with a rustling noise. The woman played a loud chord on what sounded like a piano, and then Tommy heard what he afterwards described as a great mixed noise. It was made up, he said, of falling tiles, rushing water, the whistle of an engine, the voice of a crocodile, and the shouting of porters. Then all was silent. With a great effort he opened his eyes and saw his father turning over a newspaper, his mother rising from the piano in the next room, and his sister putting a violin away. Before he quite realized where he was, a gentle voice said, "Why are you looking so frightened, Tommy?" Tommy only answered, "I was frightened because Miss Jack said I was going to disappear, and you're a jolly old wink, and I wonder how you got over that wall." This was said to the dog, of course. "And, mother, may I have some supper?" End of chapter 8, and end of Merry Clappum Junction, by Arnold Kennedy.